And it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start with the former President Joe Biden, who was wheeled out to again attack Donald Trump. And he also received an award from something called the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute. Joe Biden delivered a powerful message there about remembering who the hell you are.
We just have to get up. As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, and get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. That's who we are. We're the U.S. We're the United States of America.
That's who we are, the United States of America. Got it. Powerful, powerful stuff there from old Joe. Can't believe people doubted his mental acuity. How dare they? Someone else who has suffered a significant decline in recent years is Prince Harry. Remember when he was the most popular royal along with the Queen, when he was beloved in the United Kingdom and beyond, the second in line to the throne? He's now reduced to this, whatever this is.
So if you was treated like a king for the day, what would you want me to do for you?
Beg for me, probably.
You'd want me to do what? Beg?
Beg.
Beg? Beg?
B-A-K. Beg.
What?
Bake.
Oh, bake!
If that's not the most cringeworthy, pitiful and unfunny mess you've ever seen, what was he thinking? Prince Harry on soon-to-be unemployed Stephen Colbert's awful program, doing whatever that was, and then there was this.
Stephen, you just have to believe. Doesn't this prove anything can happen? I mean, minutes ago, you said it was impossible. But look, isn't there a handsome prince standing in front of you right now?
Look, Harry, I'm sorry.
Handsome, okay. Reminder that this clown abandoned his family, abandoned his duty, not his title though. He abandoned Britain because of the media attention, the intrusion. He wanted a private life. He wanted normality for his family. He fled the awful media intrusion to do reality programs, do tell-all interviews and embarrass his family with little skits like this.
You're an actual prince. Why would you want to be in one of those movies?
Well, you Americans are obsessed with Christmas movies, and you're clearly obsessed with royalty, so why not?
Hold on. Look, I wouldn't say we're obsessed with royalty.
Really? I heard you elected a king.
That's a fair point.
Now let's check in on the clash between pop star Sabrina Carpenter and the White House. You'll remember last week, little Sabrina had a massive tantrum because her song was used by the White House to promote the Trump administration's immigration agenda. Well, the White House has responded to that tantrum by releasing a new commercial. Have a look.
I might need to arrest someone for being too illegal.
Oh, well, I turned myself in.
You're under arrest.
You get the bag and fumble it, I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Straight off the lot, put on the cash, and the car came with a blood in it. Lil' mama.
Checkmate. Sorry, Sabrina, but that is bloody hilarious. Let's bring in Newsweek Senior Editor-at-Large and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel Josh Hammer. Josh, we have a lot to cover today, from the War Secretary's latest comments to the World Cup, which is going to be North America in 2026. But let's start with President Trump's approach to ideological opponents. It's been groundbreaking and it's now been adopted very successfully, I might add, by centre-right leaders around the world, from Milei in Argentina to Meloni in Italy and Farage in the UK, everywhere it seems except here in Australia. Trump learned early that attack is the best form of defence, and there's really no reason to try to appease people who are never going to back you.
Well, that's definitely part of it. There's no point in trying to appease the unappeasable. I think there's also another element to the whole Trump approach to his political opposition, Rita, which is that he believes, as I believe, in mockery. Frankly, sometimes just snarling and just mocking your opponent for saying totally outlandish, crazy things, for really kind of being somewhat sophomoric, for at times just sounding deeply dim-witted and frankly just low IQ. there's something to be said for that, actually. And that kind of resonates, I think, with a lot of people. I'm not saying that is necessarily the number one calling card that you should do. I mean, I'm a public policy guy. I'm a law guy. I care about political philosophy. I care about battle of ideas. But when it comes to political messaging, when it comes to running campaigns, when it comes to running advertisements there, when it comes to trying to maintain your approval ratings and your favorability and all that there really is something to be said, actually, for just trying to disembowel and eviscerate your opponent in deeply unrestrained, uninhibited fashion. I think that also includes some element of just mocking the dumbest of their possible opponents there. There's no point in giving more credit than credit is due. When you have a intellectually sophisticated sparring partner, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. The intellectual debate's been a part of humanity for thousands and thousands of years. But when you have, let's call it a Jasmine Crockett or an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, sometimes it's not worth getting into a Mensa standoff when it comes to who has the best idea to help the citizenry. Sometimes you just say, you know what, you're stupid, you sound stupid, you're proposing stupid ideas. That's it.
Now, talking about elements of the hateful media, President Trump has got on the attack with a post targeting CNN anchor Caitlyn Collins. The president wrote, Caitlyn Collins of fake news CNN, always stupid and nasty. Asked me why the new ballroom was costing more money than originally thought 1 year ago. I said because it's going to be double the size and the quality of finishes and interiors has been brought to the highest level. Josh, how do you see the the president's relationship with the media this time around? Is it more of the same, more of what we saw in the first term, or has there been a shift in that dynamic?
So first of all, let me just say something about Caitlyn Collins, because Caitlyn Collins is actually a unique individual in a certain way. Caitlyn Collins is not just someone who is part of the left-wing chattering class, the left-wing homogenous group thing, echo chamber here in the United States. Caitlyn Collins actually used to be on the right, at least purportedly. At least she came up, she was trained through right-of-center journalistic institutions. Specifically, she had a stint with the Daily Caller. I think she actually might have gotten her start at the Daily Caller, if memory serves. So she's something, traitor, I think would be slightly overstating the point. But I think that there's a certain type of journalist who goes from the nominal putative right to become part of the deeply anti-American, anti-Western civilization left. There's a certain part of that I know that I personally, that gets really under my skin. So I can only imagine, frankly, what Donald Trump, who's at the eye of the storm, is thinking when he sees someone like Caitlyn Collins, who is really just, again, acting in like borderline traitorous fashion, frankly, over the course of her career there. But this is part of the whole contempt and mockery approach there. I mean, I do think that his approach towards the media, Rita, more generally in the second term, is even more adversarial, even more hostile. And there's a very good reason for that, which is that the media, since Donald Trump left the office in January 2021, since he came back 4 years later, I mean, they were deeply complicit in the attempts to incarcerate him, to bankrupt him, to throw him in jail, to ruin his life, essentially. The media was complicit every single step of the way in the unprecedented, completely historically unmatched attempt to just destroy this man, to destroy this former, and now we know at that time, then future president of the United States there. So the media was complicit every step of the way. I think that you're frankly seeing the fallout of that now in this second term. We know from Isaac Newton, the 17th century physicist, that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But we also know, Rita, from Donald Trump himself, that when someone punches at you, you punch back twice as hard. So, let's not call it Newton's law of physics. Let's call it Donald Trump's law of PR, which is what you're seeing play out here in the second term.
Now, it's been revealed in a Washington Post fluff piece, it was a bit of a fluff piece on Rosie O'Donnell, that the former actor comic's obsession with Donald Trump is reaching new disturbing lows, Josh. She, we know, fled the country with her non-binary child once Donald Trump was elected, but she's also got that poor child now obsessively talking about Donald Trump. And when Rosie's therapist urged Rosie to detach from posting about President Trump for just 2 days, it was a request that came just before Thanksgiving. Well, she caved almost immediately, Josh. She was posting within hours. It really is an illness. I know we joke about TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and how it can overtake people's lives and make them completely mad. But with Rosie, it seems to have actually happened. I mean, is she working? Is she happy? Is she productive? Or is she just obsessively posting and talking and ruminating about Donald Trump.
You know, Rita, I don't claim to have my thumb deeply on the scale of American pop culture when it comes to folks like Rosie O'Donnell, but I will say that I couldn't even tell you the last time that I heard Rosie O'Donnell's name in a non-Donald Trump context. I mean, what is this woman doing with her life these days? I mean, I actually have no idea. I mean, has she been cast in some like third-rate, stand-up bit on some second-rate channel? I literally couldn't tell you what Rosie O'Donnell is doing other than just kvetching and griping about Donald J. Trump. Trump and Rosie go back quite a long ways. I mean, if you think back, read all the way to the very first primary debate back in August 2015 to launch up that very chaotic primary cycle. That was when Megyn Kelly was actually moderating that back on Fox News, and she got into it with Donald Trump. And that was in the infamous exchange where Donald Trump made some jab about, but only Rosie O'Donnell, as far as the only women that he hates in his life there. So Rosie and the Don go back decades when it comes to the New York, upper class social scene there. She's probably not okay. I mean, look, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist there. Far be it from me to try to diagnose her from afar. But Donald Trump does have, he's gifted with many unique abilities. The art of the troll and the art of getting under your opponent's skin, which kind of ties into our whole mockery conversation, this is absolutely part of it. He absolutely has a way to just deeply, deeply make his opponents lose their everlasting mind and focus in monolithic fashion on their searing hatred of him. And it's a very unique political skill. I'm not frankly sure I can think of another American political figure I've ever seen have this particular skill, but Rosie O'Donnell is kind of exhibit A, that's for sure.
He does have that ability to make his political opponents just behave in a crazy fashion. If they would just remain normal and if they would just have a proportionate response, I think they would be a lot more successful in trying to defeat him. But yeah, you're right. Rosie already has her own psychiatrist who she's spoken about. And she told Jim Acosta during a recent chat that she was disgusted with the White House press corps for allowing Trump to verbally rape a reporter. Verbally. I mean, she is not well. Let's move on from Rosie and talk about the World Cup. 2026 is shaping up to be an incredible year for the US, 250th birthday, and you're hosting the Soccer World Cup, Josh, arguably the world's biggest sporting event. President Trump was in excellent spirits during the World Cup draw where he received a peace prize from FIFA. He danced to YMCA, and guess which country he drew?
But let's see.
Are you sure? Are you sure this is the ball? You can still change it if you want.
Does he know something that I don't know? Let's give it a shot, John.
Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I agree. Okay.
This is shocking.
United States of America.
And then there was the dancing. There's always dancing. But Josh, there are those in the soccer world very upset with FIFA for honouring the president. Among them is Australia's own Craig Foster, former player who called the event a shameful day for the beautiful game. What's your response to the critics?
Well, first of all, Rita, I'm pretty sure that the United States and Australia are actually going to be in the same group
yes.
come 2026. So I very much look forward to seeing my country and your country gear up in this most beautiful game. I'm a big sports fan in general. I love the World Cup. I look forward to it very much every 4 years. But I'm not the only one who loves sports. Donald Trump loves sports as well. Sport has been a big part of Donald Trump's public-facing persona for decades and decades and decades. He was always seen back in New York City at Knicks games, Yankees games, things like that. And now on the world stage right now, he's intimately involved when it comes to Live Golf, the rival to the PGA Tour and professional golf. They have a tournament actually at Trump Doral, his very iconic, well-known South Florida golf course, also my wedding venue. So whatever that's worth as well. He's very involved with golf. He's very involved with international motorsport. He's been seen when it comes to the Formula One, U.S. races, things like that as well. And he's also involved in trying to get the Washington, I still say Redskins, but the Washington Commanders, whatever the name is. He's trying to get the football team back from Maryland into Washington, D.C. They're trying to rebuild the old RFK Stadium in eastern Washington, D.C. He's behind that. So he cares a lot about sports. He cares a lot about this there. They're allegedly doing a UFC fight, Rita, on the White House lawn next
the White
year.
House.
Which, yeah, it's going to be in conjunction with the 250th anniversary. I mean, you know, what an amazing spectacle. I'm frankly just an otherworldly spectacle that's going to be. But sport is a way, in theory, to try to transcend the bitter partisanship of politics. Unfortunately, so much of sport has been subsumed by politics. So we kind of have to work. We have to bring that back to what it used to be. But I think Trump understands that sport is something that resonates with everyone on every single rung of the economic ladder. It's something that resonates with the working man, middle class, upper class, whatever you are. If you are a patriot, if you enjoy just watching successful people compete against successful people and strive to be the best there, you are going to have some sort of innate sympathy for sport. I think it's really kind of part of Donald Trump's, frankly, his working class blue collar appeal. And I again, as a big sports fan myself, I respect it very much.
And it's incredible that loss in 2020 means he's president now, and he's not only got the Soccer World Cup, he's got the 250th birthday celebration, he's got the Olympics. He's going to be president for all those momentous events. Josh, before you go, War Secretary Pete Hegseth has been under intense pressure in the past week after a narco boat bringing large amounts of deadly drugs into America was neutralised along with the narco terrorists on board. There's been talk of war crimes, but Hegseth is not taking a backward step. He made these comments at the Reagan Presidential Library.
The War Department will not be distracted by democracy building, interventionism, undefined wars, regime change, climate change, woke moralizing, and feckless nation building. We will instead put our nation's practical, concrete interests first. We will deter war. We will advance our interests. We will defend our people. Peace is our goal.
Peace through strength, that's the philosophy. There was a lot of conjecture, Josh, that his position was under threat. Is that how you see it? Is he going to have issues with this scandal, or was this another manufactured crisis by elements of the media?
Rita, this story makes me want to pull my hair out, because how many times have we seen this same playbook? You know, right after Donald Trump nominated Pete Hegseth to be the then Secretary of Defense, now it's rebranded as Secretary of War, right after that, last November, over a year ago, if you recall, the media immediately sprang up into action trying to rerun the 2018 Brett Kavanaugh playbook. They were immediately besmirching Pete Hegseth. They said that he was a drunkard, that he was drunk while on set of Fox News. They said that he was a philanderer, an adulterer, and oh, by the way, he was actually a rapist, to boot, in case that wasn't bad enough for you. So we had that. Thank goodness we got Joni Ernst of Iowa on board and all the senators on board, so he became the secretary. Okay, fast forward a few months. Then you had this Signalgate scandal, which came in March during this U.S. operation against the Houthis in Yemen. Was this done in the most kosher fashion imaginable? Maybe, maybe not, okay? Maybe there's a better app than Signal, some sort of super encrypted secret app to communicate. I don't know. Probably there is. Was this the end of the world? No, there was not. How do I know? Because nothing happened. Because not a single hair of a U.S. soldier, Marine, or sailor was harmed as a result of this. So that operation failed too. Now they're on to this. Now they're on to the latest information operation, political warfare act against Pete Hegseth. And for what? Literally for what? Because a Navy admiral acting under his chain of command decided that the drugs on this particular boat were about to be interdicted and intercepted by another vessel, and that cocaine and fentanyl could have been headed to the United States. If you accept the premise, as I do, Rita, that chemical warfare is indeed a form of de facto warfare upon the United States, then it absolutely stands to reason that targeted, tactical, preemptive, prophylactic action to secure the American people and the American homeland against such a threat is absolutely called for. So this scandal is ridiculous. I've been calling it out every day now for a week and a half. The Washington Post, by the way, which initially reported this, literally got their facts wrong. In fact, the New York Times, of all outlets, was actually the one that called out the Washington Post for doing that there. So they frankly owe Pete Hegseth something of an apology for accusing him of just callously ordering so-called war crimes there. But, you know, I guess the last thing on this I'll say, Rita, is that, you know, there's, as someone who follows the Middle East closely, I've become almost numb to the war crime allegation because of just the routine manner in which they attempt to accuse Netanyahu and the Israelis of committing war crimes there. So, I mean, I guess they're trying to bring the specific Middle East accusations, now try to take it into the American context. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because the Hegseth that we just saw in the video is a very confident, well-spoken Secretary of War. I happen to be a big fan of him, and I wish him nothing but the best. He's going to survive this relatively unscathed. This story will be dead by the next few days, I predict.
Josh Hammer, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rita.
Joining me now is celebrity and royal commentator Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, we have to talk about Prince Harry's appearance on Stephen Colbert's awful program. Let's have a look.
No. Come on. What? Just look at this. We're suddenly surrounded by beautiful Christmas trees.
Yeah, it's for a Christmas bit I was going to do before you interrupted me.
Oh, Stephen, look. It's snowing.
Kinsey, the whole thing was just so incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah, not funny. And Harry takes a swipe at Donald Trump. And at the same time, the royal family, actually. Prince Harry's reality is that he's living in a gig economy now, hustling from one paid project to the next. Not a steady income. His income depends on Americans buying his shows, books, and speaking engagements. That's why taking a jab at President Trump on national television is such a terrible gamble. Trump won the election, and Harry's comments risk turning off a huge portion of the audience he needs to support his venture. Why antagonize the very people he's trying to sell instead of just staying quiet and safeguarding his brand? But you know what? At least Colbert won't be lonely in the unemployment line. He'll have his friend Prince Harry standing right there next to him.
Well, the timing of Harry's appearance couldn't be worse. It was as terrible as the appearance itself. It was at a time when Meghan Markle's father was gravely ill in hospital. The Sun newspaper has revealed that the Duchess of Sussex has sent her estranged father an email. He has begged Meghan to see him before he dies, Kinsey.
Messy Markle is back. Meghan says she emailed her father after his life or death surgery, though he says otherwise. The email she supposedly used has been inactive for 5 years, leaving the public to wonder who's telling the truth. It seems funny to me that one of Fortune's most powerful women can't make a simple phone call to her father.
And an email, really? Like you couldn't even send a message to the hospital, send some flowers, send a message via a sibling, perhaps pick up the phone or visit. I know those two things are quite dramatic, but an email, I mean, it just is so transactional and lacking in feeling, Kinsey.
I don't know what else we expect from her these days, but I think that she had to do this. She's trying to promote a Christmas special where she shoves family down our throat, and it's literally familyless. So she knew that this was detrimental to her brand and career. So she claimed she reached out to her father despite him saying otherwise.
Now let's talk about Cher. The 79-year-old singer is reportedly set to tie the knot with her 39-year-old boyfriend, Alexander Edwards. And she wants to get this wedding organised before her 80th birthday in May, Kinsey. An insider told the Mirror that Cher doesn't give a hoot about their 40-year age difference, and they're both ready to commit to each other. She sees her upcoming celebration at turning 80 as the perfect time for her and Alexander to seal the deal. Kinsey, it has been nearly 50 years since her second marriage ended. I guess it's time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a shock because she previously said she didn't really want to get married again. But recently she said her boyfriend reminded her that it's never too late to find love. And what matters is how relationships feel, not what anyone else thinks. I mean, I do think what's beautiful about Cher's perspective is that she's never treated love as a certificate of completion. She's always seen it as a choice, a luxury, a way to add joy to an already full life. And maybe that is the way we should all think about it.
She has had some very noteworthy quotes about men and relationships over the years. We won't go through them now, but she has a way with her words. Now, Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau have made their relationship Instagram official. They posted this little video of a sushi date. Kinsey, Justin Trudeau, he's looking at Katy like she's a Canadian trucker's bank account. He just wants to seize all of that, all of it.
Hashtag never forget. That's a very good reference. I really expected more from Katy Perry here, like a caption that said, I kissed a Canadian and I liked it. If they ever break up, Canada is legally required to play The One That Got Away on repeat on every radio station, like a form of Chinese torture. That's what I think should happen.
Oh dear. I mean, really, why would you get together with Justin Trudeau after he's out of office? This was her chance to be First Lady after she was an astronaut. She could have just ticked off another first on her list. Sydney Sweeney, she's opened up on the backlash over her American Eagle commercial. These are jeans commercials that seem to trigger the left. She was abused online for the campaign, some calling her a white supremacist. She told People magazine she was surprised by the reaction, and she also said, anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. Is she going to have to be asked about this commercial for the rest of her career, Kinsey?
I mean, hopefully this shut it down. I hate that Sydney Sweeney even has to address baseless rumors, but sometimes those narratives take on a life of their own. In her case, she chose to step in, set the record straight. I respect that. But you're right. Can we close this door now? Or are people going to continue to look for this clickbait and ask her about it every time she sits down in front of a microphone?
Well, you know what? In a way, it's not bad for her brand as far as endorsements go. This campaign was enormously successful for American Eagle, so much free publicity. And even the negative publicity seemed to work for them because it was negative on such unreasonable grounds. Most people who looked at that ad didn't see all the crazy racist tropes that the left sees. Now, let's get to the truth behind Jay-Z and sister-in-law. Is it Solange Knowles' infamous elevator fight. Surveillance footage from inside that elevator at New York City Standard Hotel showed Solange lunging at, swinging at and kicking Jay-Z. Look at her go. This was following an after party at the Boom Boom Room. And what was always fascinating to me was the way that Beyonce just stood by and watched that assault happen with really, it seemed like she was not too engaged. She was just observing. Well, now fashion designer Oscar G. Lopez, who made Rachel Roy's 2014 Met Gala gown, claims Jay-Z complimented Roy's dress at the event, and that's what set off this chain reaction. Kinsey, surely a compliment about a dress wouldn't cause that.
Look, says who? He wasn't in the elevator. I'd literally never heard of this designer until the resurrection of this 10-year-old story where he claims Jay-Z complimented his client's dress, his dress. I'm not buying it. There's no new real information here. We knew the fight was about infidelity. I do believe at the core the fight was about infidelity, and it's Becky with the good hair, Rachel Roy, and Beyonce probably didn't want to break a nail. I'd sit back too, and I'm not trying to mess up my manicure.
Oh, well, how can you be this passionate? Your sister is going nuts, physically attacking your husband, who you assume has been cheating on you, and you just stand there and watch like you're just watching grass grow. I mean, the whole thing, that was my first red flags about Beyonce, because the reaction there was just so bizarre.
Typical Tuesday for them, apparently.
Oh, well, you know what? I want to see a reality show on those two then. Forget about Meghan and Harry, because their reality show was amongst the most boring television ever produced. It may be a little bit trashy, but I'm going to be honest, I'd watch it. Kinsey Schofield, thank you so much for your time tonight.